If you're a gaming enthusiast, odds are you've heard of Starfield. You know, that upcoming Bethesda title, launching exclusively to Xbox and PCs everywhere. Whether or not you're hyped for it, well, that probably depends on how much you like or maybe even love playing RPGs. Starfield promises to be massive. With over 1,000 planets to explore, it's easy to see how you could spend over 1,000 hours playing this game. For me personally, my hype levels went up dramatically after the June Starfield Direct event. Today, I'm going to watch that video again, but this time with a good friend of mine that calls PlayStation home. Will he be impressed? Or maybe even hyped to play the game? Let's find out. I'm Mental 9R, and this is Caffeine Entertainment. So, Fintintin, welcome to Caffeine Entertainment. Why don't you tell everybody out there a little bit about yourself and your history with gaming?
Yeah, well, I've been gaming for many, many years, as you know. And looking at Starfield today, quite excited with the prospect based on what you told me. I'm a big fan of Fallout, which you introduced me to several years ago. Yeah, looking to see the next iteration. And as far as my own background, I'm more into console gaming, done a bit of PC gaming, but more into console gaming recently. More of a PlayStation guy than you, who's an Xbox aficionado. But yeah, I think we can meet in the middle somewhere, and we'll see how this goes.
I'm sure we can. We always seem to find a way to find that middle ground. But I'm really looking forward to Starfield. I wasn't that excited about it when I first heard of it years ago, but then again, things change, and once you get to view a little bit more of it, and of course, this Starfield Direct really got me pumped for it. I went a little bit off the deep end with getting the Xbox controller and the headset that were limited edition items, but I did use my Xbox reward points for it. So I think in total it cost me about $30 plus tax. So it wasn't a big deal, at least in a cost perspective. But all right, well, let's get this going, and we'll pause it occasionally when we feel there's enough that you want to talk about in a specific area. You can just hit the pause button and we can talk about that. Otherwise, just, throw your comments in as we go.
Okay, exciting.
There's that Xbox symbol you love.
Yeah, just give me the shivers.
Even this little bit here gets me excited, just, the background talk and everything.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today and welcome to Bethesda Game Studios. We've been so lucky over the decades to make the kind of games that we love here, and that's thanks to all of you. From the Elder Scrolls to Fallout, we love creating these worlds and playing in them just as much as you do. And throughout
Be
all
cool
that
looking
time, we'd
complex
often
they've got
talk
going on
about
there.
and dream up the
Yeah,
space
that'd be
game.
quite the
What if
office
we
to
could
work
take
in, I
that
think.
feeling of being who you
I
want
might
to
even
be
want to go into
and
an
exploring
office
a new
again
world,
if I worked
but
there.
set it in space, where you weren't really limited in where you could go or what you could do. And that is Starfield. Obviously, we've come a long way since then with the games we've built, our technology,
I find
all
it
of us
funny
here in
how
the
they
studio. We've
they
done so
stopped
much
just as they
together,
got to
but well,
Fallout
we've never
76.
tried to make a
Although I've
game
heard that
like
game is
this.
actually really good now.
Today, you'll get to hear from
But
many
Yeah, I
on
still
the
haven't
team
I still
and
haven't
see
checked it.
so
I've played
much of what we
everything that
think makes
Fallout
our
has done
game
for the last
special.
couple of years,
So
except
let's
that
jump
because
in and take
I
a
didn't
look.
want it to taint my view of Fallout. But maybe it's time to have a look.
Understandable,
Starfield
yeah.
is our first new universe
Something maybe we
in
could play
over
together.
25 years. But it's still a Bethesda RPG through and through, where you step into a new world
It looks
and you get
amazing.
that feeling of unlimited possibilities. But this
It
time,
does.
it's not just one world. It's over 1,000 worlds. Because the choice of where to go, it's not ours, it's yours. And it wasn't until now that we had the technology to create it. From the rocks at your feet to the mountains in the distance. to the people and creatures that live in these worlds. That isn't just a backdrop. That moon is actually there orbiting the planet. Yes, you can visit it too.
Wonder if you can
pause it
fly
here for one
into.
second.
Simulate the galaxy
sure.
around you.
I was just wondering there, maybe you've some background about this because you're more into the, the background and the nuts and bolts of the games. I'm interested in this comment as to they weren't able to make it before and now they've got the technology. Like, what specifically is he talking about? Is he talking about the next generation of consoles, or is this something different?
I honestly don't know the specifics about that comment, but the assumption is, in the community anyway, is that they just haven't had the actual horsepower to run a game like this before. So yeah, it comes back to the technology in the consoles and in PC hardware to actually be able to develop a game of this scope and magnitude and have the consoles run at a decent frame rate. I mean, you probably haven't heard about this controversy. But one of the things that the game's getting a bad rap for is on the Xbox Series X, it's going to be a 30 FPS game, and oh no, because it's not 60, everyone's in an uproar over it. When I say everyone, I say mainly Sony fans, but ultimately, I think as long as the motion blur is done correctly and they use little tricks like that, 30 FPS can be okay. I'm not a fan of it personally. It's why I'm going to be playing it on PC. But I think it can be okay. Your brain does adjust to it. You play for 15, 20 minutes, and eventually it starts to feel fairly fluid at that. But going back to your original question, yeah, I think it's just purely the horsepower in the consoles to be able to actually manage and play a game like this, where you have so much going on and so much in the realm of like physics and whatnot. And he talks later about their global illumination engine and things like that. That takes horsepower to make that feel right and work correctly and cast shadows the way they want them, et cetera, et cetera.
Interesting. I do want to congratulate you as well for making it for like the 2 minutes and 31 seconds into the video before making your first PlayStation jibe. So good work.
Not bad, eh? Not bad.
Yeah.
Hey, I
I'll,
like PlayStation games too, so
I'll press play again.
sure.
Our next generation lighting model uses real-time global illumination to light the world based on the type of star and the makeup of the planet's atmosphere. We also have an all-new animation system. And of course, you can play it in third person, and you can play it in first person. We love exploration and rewarding it, but you do explore differently in this game given its scale. That usually involves exploring an area you've landed in. You can collect resources,
This is very reminiscent of No Man's Sky.
do a mission, and maybe
Yeah,
even
I still have to
stumble
check
upon
that one
something
out.
unexpected.
Yeah, you and me both.
It's very Fallout looking. Well, it's hard to see. I guess the perspective so far, but just with looks a lot cleaner, right?
Right. I would say clearly this world seems to have lower gravity than what we'd ordinarily experience. Given the height they're able to jump and the way the physics on the bodies
We
reacted.
do love stuff and all of the items allowing you to pick everything up, and you can view all that in your data menu. This is the hub for everything you're doing, from your skills to your ship, your missions, and your inventory. We love to pack a ton of detail in every object, from all of your weapons to spacesuits to food. We just obsess over the details, and food. We obsess over food. When you're done exploring, you can walk back or fast travel to your
Step up
ship.
from the Pip-Boy.
We have companions and
Yeah,
crew you
yeah.
can take with you. I left Vasco here
There's
back in my ship.
actually a
Welcome back, Captain Howard.
And he
limited
can even say
edition
your
version
name.
of this that you can get
Let's
that
head out.
includes a smartwatch like the one that you have in the game. They'll talk about that later.
Our mission was to convey the wonder and majesty of space exploration, to evoke the romance of the golden age of early spaceflight. And we've been referring to this approach as NASA Punk. This means a design language where the tech is advanced, yet still looks grounded and relatable.
For us, it's that contrast. That's where the visual interest is. Obviously, the NASA, which is the rigid, hard function over style, and then Punk, which is all about style.
You can see that visual
I don't know, is
style
it just me,
coming
but the
through in
spaceships
your
very
ship.
look very
Your
Star
ship is your home
Wars-esque.
for you and
Yeah.
your crew. And like many of
I'm
the
sure
spaces in
you-
our game,
you know, you
it
draw
has a
inspiration
slightly retro
from
and
shows
analog
like that
touch, a bit of
when you're
lo-fi
designing
rather than
things.
sci-fi, where everything is well used,
It would be hard not to.
worn, and lived in.
Alrighty. What's the plan, Captain?
This is your star map. It starts with the planet you're currently on. You can see all of its info and resources. You can choose a landing spot or fast travel to known locations. Backing out further, you can view all the planets in the system. Obviously, the game is big, and it's here you can see planets that have key locations, missions, or life on them, versus the
Might
many
just be
planets
me,
that
but
are
a lot of
barren
those
but
planets look
resource
like
heavy.
they'd just basically be
Zoom out even further
roasty
to see
toasty
all the
because they're all
systems
so
in this
close
part
to
of
the
the
sun.
galaxy. Here, you can plot a course to ones that are
And there is
light
it
years
just,
away.
you know, for
This uses
representation
your
is
ship's
not
grav drive
necessarily
to
Yeah.
representing
full
this.
speed and jump to these systems.
I'm sure that's
and you will
it,
need
but
to upgrade your ship and skills if you want to jump to
the
the
scale
most
of it
distant
looks
ones.
funny.
But for now, we'll plot a course to the Alpha Centauri system, where we can find the city of New Atlantis.
We'll
But
find
that
out more later. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say that actual view reminds me a lot of the Mass Effect series and the way you would navigate there.
Mass Effect wasn't Bethesda, was it?
Maintain your current course
no.
while we scan your ship's cargo.
I think that's a BioWare game originally, and then EA bought them out.
At New Atlantis.
Great games, by the way, if you haven't played them. At least the first three. I haven't played Andromeda. It got a bit of a bad rap for its animations and stuff like that,
As soon
and
as you
apparently the
land in a
characters are a
city
bit
like New
bland.
Atlantis, your
I'll shut up
eyes
now.
are guided upwards to just
No, I was
these
just gonna say, though, that
boundless,
earlier-
vast buildings.
It's the
I
biggest
guess we'll
city
we'll
we've
figure
ever
out
made,
how they
not
do
just in
this,
size,
or
but also in the amount
but the
of
one thing that
custom
throws me off a little
art,
bit,
crowds,
it looks amazing,
quests.
and even if it's
So the main
if
focus
this was
when we're
all in
designing
one
a city
world,
is obviously what
or
supports
even
the
in
story.
like
We
one
try and
city
tell as
like
many
Fallout,
small
it would still
stories
be
as
amazing.
possible.
But I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around how they
It's a
can
few
truly
moments of gameplay
have
that make the
like
space feel like
you know,
it's full
multiple
of real
planets full of
characters that are
stuff.
going about
You know
their
what I mean?
day-to-day lives.
That just
Yeah.
seems too vast.
To really stop and think about it.
Well, especially when they
It's
talk
comfy.
about
It's
there being
also
over 1,000
where
of
your
them.
adventure with Constellation
Yeah, it doesn't make
begins.
sense to me. I don't know. Maybe even my little brain is not able to get my head wrapped around it, as I say.
Welcome to Constellation. We have a lot to talk about.
By the time you meet them, Constellation is sort of seen as this mythical group. Most people don't even know they exist anymore. They're the last true explorers in the galaxy, and they're trying to find the answers to some of humanity's biggest questions.
The artifacts are so different, so alien, and I'm certain one of them reached out and spoke to you. The artifact, if you could place it on the table here.
Oh my god, look at how it's coming together.
That means there's a set built by an intelligence outside the settled systems.
It's definitely an eclectic cast of characters. You've got Sarah Morgan, the ex-soldier and adventurer, now Constellation's leader. Mateo, the theologian who believes that there's definitely something else out there. Noel, the gifted scientist and Sarah Morgan's protege. And Walter, a very successful businessman in the settled systems and Constellation's financier.
Anything goes as long as you have the money.
There's also Vlad, the ex-pirate, Sam Coe, the former space cowboy, and Barrett.
You know what I hate about these pirates? Completely resistant to my otherwise irresistible charm.
The journey you take with Constellation is just the first of many you'll embark on. The Settled Systems is home to all kinds of different stories, people, and adventures for you to uncover.
That's quite the world.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
It's funny there with the group. It was like they had all the usual suspects, but they threw in a businessman. That's pretty unusual.
The people who live here value law, discipline, and the legacy of
Maybe he's
humanity.
the
They
finance
consider themselves
guy
the true
that
children
provides you
of
all the
Earth.
cash to
You
go
ever
out
think
and
of
do
joining
it.
up with the Vanguard? Help the
Hope
United
you have to do
Colonies?
you have to
even get
do
your UC
balance
citizenship?
sheets and
New Atlantis isn't the only city within the
approval
United
processes.
Colonies. The city of Sidonia on Mars to this day serves as the largest mining facility for the United Colonies.
No
Beyond
TPS
the United
reports.
Colonies' reach, you might find yourself in a much more wild and independent coalition of star systems. This is Freestar Collective Space. The
Shades of
capital
New
the
Vegas.
Freestar Collective is Aquila City.
The Stone Root Inn is an Aquila City fixture.
A ranger relies on judgment and intuition to do what's best for the people.
Neon started out as a fishing platform, but is now known throughout the settled systems as a pleasure city, where almost anything goes.
If you've got morality issues, this definitely isn't the job for you.
Ryujin is hiring the best and brightest of today for our future tomorrow.
Everyone
That reminds me of Cyberpunk in some respects.
I was saying the same thing. My biggest concern is just a different
Outside the bounds of civilized
way of saying the
space,
same
there are
thing. My
still
biggest
plenty of
concern is
unclaimed
have they bitten
systems to
off more they
explore,
can
but
chew,
these
like,
areas
with all
are
these
also home
different
to the
types
most
of environments and
hostile
everything.
factions in the galaxy.
The great serpent hungers.
Looks amazing.
All
Though.
heathens shall be made dust in time.
A new face. Is this the face of a brave runner here to challenge the Red Mile?
They think the galaxy is theirs. They are wrong. It belongs to the Crimson Fleet. It always has.
In Starfield, we're pushing our cities and settlements further than we ever have before. It's all there, waiting for you. A slice of humanity's future.
So, ready to get out there?
Yep.
Throughout the galaxy, there are so many things to see and stories to experience. But the most important story is the one that you tell. I'm the type of person who spends hours in character creation, and I think people are going to be really excited when they see all of the improvements we've made.
One of the biggest
Been a
overhauls
big
was done
knock
through our character
on their
generation
previous
system.
games
We
is
scanned a
their
wide range of
character
faces
creation
from
was
different
pretty
age groups
bland.
and ethnicities. And by mixing and
Yeah.
matching out that data, we were able to create highly detailed and
Yeah, for the
diverse
first few
characters.
Fallouts, you didn't even talk,
We
right?
use
So
that exact system to create all of the characters and NPCs you're going to see in the game. So any character you see almost always is a character you could make yourself.
stupid question, but is this an Xbox exclusive or is it going to be out on the PS as well?
Cold.
It's Xbox,
No physical
Xbox
damage.
exclusive.
I believe the jury's still out. You know who you are? New recruit for Argos Extractors?
Interesting side note there. Originally, Sony was trying to lock it down as an exclusive. And when Xbox slash Phil Spencer slash Microsoft caught wind of that, that was what drove them to go out and buy Bethesda, because they were sick and tired of losing games and exclusivities over to Sony with their practices of going out and making deals with third parties. So in a way, Sony was responsible for this becoming Xbox exclusive.
Ring any bells? Any of this look familiar?
You start your character creation journey as though you're cycling through employee records. You'll pick from a lineup of 40 presets, and that'll be your starting point. Your journey from there can be as detailed or as quick as you want it to be. This new system has more to offer than ever before.
It's also the simplest character generation system we ever had. We let the player get as close as possible to make whatever they want. With the various facial morphs you can blend together, the dermesthetic and makeup, blemishes, scars, piercings, teeth settings, it's a lot, but I think it's the most fun to use.
Character creation is more than just how you look. This is also where you start to decide who you want to be. That's where backgrounds come in. Backgrounds give you a bit of backstory and start you out with 3 basic skills.
From chef to dusty. You know, the crew still has a betting pool about which restaurant critic you must have crossed to wind up here.
What's great about backgrounds is you never know when yours is going to come.
I wonder how
in.
much impact that
You
has
could be in the
actually
middle of
has
a
on the
fancy
game.
restaurant, talking to some guy, and
I was
suddenly
just
you
thinking
learn
that
he needs
same
a beast
thing.
hunter to help track down a monster.
Fine.
A lot of games, it doesn't really matter. You know, it plays out the same way. Maybe it starts a little different, or you have a slightly different skill set.
You
But
pick up to 3 traits.
I think in something like
Traits are completely
Borderlands, it kind of makes a
optional,
difference
and they come
because
with
there's
their
like
own
4 different
advantages
options,
and
right? So you get different
disadvantages.
traits.
You could choose some
But when you make it,
fan.
like, so you have like lots and lots of different options. I can't believe they're all that different. You know what I mean?
He'll join your crew and he'll give you gifts if you're willing to
Talking
put up with his
about,
constant commentary.
I can't believe I get to stand
this guy
near
being
you,
his
breathe
biggest
the
fan.
same air.
I've got to have every molecule.
My favorite trait is kid stuff. You have to pay some credits to support your parents, but they're very sweet and it's really fun to go visit them.
Honey, we got ourselves a visitor.
Oh my god!
I came across some hostile zealots in space, but because I had chosen a trait that made me the same religion as them, I was able to get by without any issues.
There's another great one that gives you a damage buff when your health is low, but mercenaries will randomly show up and try to kill you. No matter what you choose, there will be plenty of ways for you to tell your story. And if you want to remove a trait, there are ways to do that too.
What a view! It's a feast for the eyes. Off we go to another adventure.
We'll let you discover that on your own.
Once you've built the perfect character, that's when your journey can really begin. We took what we loved about skills and perks from our previous games and put them together to create an all-new skill system. Each time you level up, you get a skill point, which can be used to unlock or rank up skills.
Very Fallout.
Ranks are unlocked by completing challenges associated with that skill.
Pretty common in RPGs.
Challenges
in general,
become
I think.
increasingly difficult as you work your way to higher ranks.
I'm playing
With our
Hogwarts
5 different
Legacy
skill
and
trees and 4 ranks
tell
per
me
skill,
that.
there's a lot
I
to
never
choose
figured
from.
he was a Harry Potter fan.
I like the Xenosociology
I'm
skill
not,
because
but
it lets you
the
mind
game's
control
pretty good.
aliens.
Boost pack out of the gate. I'm boost packing everywhere.
I like maxing out my physical tree so I can get neuro strikes and just punch my way through combat.
this could be a fun way to play.
That one's a lot of fun.
Punching people into space and no gravity.
That suit your playstyle.
Yeah.
I'm very much a stealth player. So, I'm out there pickpocketing everyone. My favorite part about being stealthy is slowly creeping through vents like you're in a movie and then jumping out and springing on people.
Whenever possible, I like to talk my way through situations.
This area's off limits. Fine, I'll issue you an access card.
I'm more of a run and gun player. I like doing
What's
that
you,
death
Mike?
from above thing where
Yeah,
I boost pack over
that's
guys and
generally
I throw
my
landmines
style.
at them.
A little bit of a bull in a china shop.
I like blowing stuff up.
There's some satisfaction in that.
Every time I see that ship, it reminds me of the Razor Crest from The Mandalorian.
In Starfield, there are full star systems with new life,
Yeah,
resources, and adventures.
There's a new season of that I think I still have to watch.
Balance between fun
Or
and
is there?
realism.
Mandalorian?
We study data from
Yeah, I've
NASA
just
and
finished
Witcher
season.
other sources.
I
to
just
help
finished
us
season
make
3 of The
world feel
Mandalorian, so I'm not sure if you've watched the third.
Yeah.
From
okay.
the way we
yeah, no, I
approach
haven't.
planetary atmospheres to the way we place biomes based on the
Hit up
planet's
The Witcher
distance from the
first.
sun.
you have to watch
Once we had created a
the Book of
grounded
Boba Fett
world,
before you
we can
watch
start
season
looking
3
at all
of the
things that make
Mandalorian
that
in the
world
timeline
fun.
order.
Oh, okay.
When you leave a planet
It's
and head into
the start of it
space,
isn't going to make a lot of sense otherwise.
you'll be
All right.
navigating
Note
asteroid
to self
fields,
to do that then.
having chance meetings with interesting strangers, dogfighting in space, and exploring derelict ships.
That looks pretty cool, like the space battle aspect.
It's all out there. Ultimately, it's about rewarding your curiosity, because whether it's on the surface
I can't get
of a
over
planet,
the feeling like it
the
almost looks
alleys
too
of a
good to be
city,
true, you know?
or the vastness of
I
space,
don't know how else to put it.
you
It
never
might
know
be.
what you'll find.
There's so much hype around it. I hope it doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, you know, like, I think I was mentioning to you before, it reminds me of I mean, again, maybe it will deliver on everything it's saying, but it reminds me a little bit before of like previous games where they said like, oh, it's a truly open world, you can explore, you can do anything, you can destroy all the environments, and you know, they haven't really turned out to be like that, right? Some of them have some very good games, but they've oversold them, right?
You can buy a
The most classic example, I think, is the first views of Destiny, where the guy's paraphrasing, of course,
and
but
hire a crew to keep
he's
it
standing
up and
there in the game, and he says, "See
And it
that
all
mountain
starts
over
in
there?
spaceports.
You can go there." And by the time the game launched, of course,
Every
you couldn't.
spaceport has a ship
It
technician
was
where you
much
can
more
purchase,
linear.
sell, and modify ships.
Anything I
And I don't worry about that because
Maybe
I
you
think it
start
won't
off
be a
with a
good
speedy
game. It
fighter
looks
that's
like
perfect
it
for
would be
bounty
amazing,
hunting.
and knowing it
Then you
comes
might
from
round
the
out your ship
Bethesda,
roster with a hulking
gives me a
space
lot of
freighter to run
confidence.
cargo missions,
But it's
or even do a little
if it
smuggling.
doesn't deliver on some of the stuff
now, though,
it
we're going to
says,
take
it's
our-
going to get shit all over like by a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
You know,
I just
all the
paused it because they're kind of going over the shipbuilding aspect of it and how you can
Okay.
customize your ships. Didn't want you to miss all that, but yeah, I know what you mean. It seems incredibly ambitious, and
Yeah.
it also seems incredibly hard to deliver on all these promises. But it has been in development for a very long time, so
Yeah, but
we
even to
shall see.
squeeze everything into, and again, I guess they'll talk more about the technology, but to squeeze everything into, you know, like you look at even something like, I don't know, I was downloading one of the old Battlefronts for my kid on the Xbox the other day. Like some of these games are really, really large, like 100 gigs, more than 100 gigs, right? So how big would this thing need to be? But anyway, I'll shut
Yeah,
up.
we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And of course, it's in Game Pass, which you have, so it won't cost you a penny to try it.
Yeah, I've already selected it for whatever the
Oh,
pre-download
the
or whatever you
pre-install.
call it. Pre-install, yeah.
Cool. Right on. All right.
Our starting ship, the Frontier, and make some changes. You can customize and upgrade everything you see here, and you have two ways to do that. You can quickly upgrade individual systems like your weapons or shields, or you can deep dive and enter the shipbuilder mode. Here you can change anything from the systems to the look and layout. Adding a new habitat module can give you more room for crew. Adding cowling can change your ship's overall silhouette. An improved grav drive allows for longer distance space jumps.
I just paused there for a second. Now this worries me. And not for the same reason as before, because you saw like in Fallout 4, like the base I had built and all of the suits I had collected and all the customizations I'd been doing. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna get lost in this.
Yeah,
Just
that's why I didn't want you to miss this, because I was
this
thinking about that.
like it just tickles my fancy for sure. But I'm like, oh my god, I'll just turn into a hermit in the basement.
Yeah, there's base building in this as well. So,
Oh man, yeah,
like I said when we were talking before, 1,000 hours I could see disappearing in this game quite easily.
Yeah,
I mean, I spent 300 in Skyrim, so
yeah,
and this is
a
well
little
beyond,
bit
right?
scary. This could be a career ender.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
For sure.
You can even fully customize your paint job to get the exact look you want. The parts you choose to build with don't just affect your ship's stats. They'll also affect what you can do inside your ship. You can have modules for crafting, or for storing and displaying your weapons. Starfield's in-game ship
Or armor.
manufacturers bring their own look
Oh,
and
man.
feel to every piece of your ship. From living quarters to cargo holds, mess halls, and control rooms. Our modified Frontier is a practical ship, but with a little creativity, your ship can look like almost anything you want.
It's a bit odd, but one of my favorite ways of customizing ships is I make them look like animals. The HMS Platypus, as I called it, where it had a giant tail to it. And we've done spiders, we've done mechs. So it's really whatever your
You
imagination
see some
is.
Millennium Falcons flying around in the future.
And
Oh,
while you can build
probably.
your home among the stars the way you want to, you're probably not the only person who will call your ship home.
Ready to lift off when you are, Captain.
Engines ready.
The Frontier is fueled and ready, Captain.
Some of the members of Constellation can join you on your journey. These companions can serve on your crew, and they'll always be there when you travel.
We'll be traveling together until we either find an artifact or this lead runs dry.
Each companion comes with their own valuable skills for your ships and outposts, as well as unique quest lines. Eventually, some friendships might blossom into romance.
I don't know that I've ever really loved anyone except you.
And if you're looking for a little extra help on your
Aww.
ship, you can always hire additional crew at spaceports.
Got any room on your ship for someone like me?
You'll also meet potential crew members out in the world.
Still
I wonder if you can just fly into a gas giant and destroy everything, like your ship and
Assign
whatnot.
crew to your ship or outposts, and their unique skills will affect how they run.
I'm gonna have to try that. Of course, I'll save the game first. But
And just like companions, most crew members can lend a hand in the field.
I find the
Take
animals,
Bosco, for instance.
or the animal models,
He's designed
excellent. Where you look
around
like
the core
real
basics of a NASA
things.
machine.
Please avoid
Yeah.
getting shot. You might die.
I still wanted to give it almost a human-like personality, so I elongated the
good
limbs.
advice.
This tends to make him feel more human-like and give him a little
To me,
personality.
you need to get
Exploration
Ripley
requires
into
so
that
much
and start
bloodshed.
smashing up aliens.
Yeah, there you go.
Using the shipbuilding tools and crew selection features in Starfield, you'll be able to build and captain the ship of your dreams.
So you're right, like a lot of the look,
And now,
I look as
let's
well
take
as
to the
seems,
sky.
I don't know if influenced, but reminiscent of Mass Effect, the suits and stuff as well.
Yeah, yeah. Even that city shot makes me think of Mass Effect. But, you know, it comes down to there's only so many things you
putting
can
you
really
in the
do, so
cockpit of your
there's going to
very
be
own spaceship.
influences
We're
like
telling you
that,
that you can do
or
pretty much
coincidences,
anything.
right?
And that is really cool
No,
for
I think
us
they've
as
taken a lot of.
developers.
It looked like a real world, I guess.
Spaceflight
And one of the
should be
things that's
exciting and
impressed me so
dangerous.
far is
And you
how different
feel
some of
like
the worlds
you're
have
in
looked like.
complete
Kind of a
control every step of the
like
way.
a city world, kind of like Coruscant in Star Wars, but then you
We've
got like the
extended that
desert
sense of
planet,
control
you got
to
the
ship
moons
combat.
and stuff.
It's not about just
Yeah,
hitting
a
your
lot of
triggers and
biodiversity.
firing your weapons.
Yeah.
It's a complex dance between your piloting skills and our power allocation system. Boosting power to
Ooh.
your engines will make your ship faster.
Man, I'm
Powering
going to
up
have
the
to
grav
get a
drives
crew
will
member
shorten the amount
named
of time it
Scotty.
takes before you can make a jump. And moving your power to your weapons and shields means you're ready for a fight. You should always be on your toes because you're not alone out there.
I've never liked space combat that much
Unlocking
on the
target control
console.
system skill will
You need
allow
a
you to
joystick
zero
for
in
that,
on
I
specific
think.
subsystems of the ship you target.
Yeah, I think maybe it comes down to a lot of it's just not done very well.
Yeah.
It feels like an
After
afterthought
destroying
in
an
most
enemy
games.
ship, you can loot the
Like
remaining
least
I
the
was
ones I've
really,
played.
I was
You
really
can
looking
always turn any
forward
ship that
to
engages
that
you into
Star
scrap.
Wars one not so long ago. What was it again?
Squadrons.
Yeah.
But you
I
can
was very
also take a
disappointed
more
with how
personal
it played
approach
on the
by
console,
docking
at
with the
least.
enemy
Anyway.
vessel and boarding their ship.
It's still on my in my backlog.
Yeah, I played it for a couple of hours, but yeah, it didn't grab me.
This part's super cool. The fact that you can board enemy ships after
Once you've
you've
taken
kind of
control of
conquered
an enemy
them.
ship, it's yours. Add it to your fleet and retrieve it at any spaceport. But space
Like,
is
that's
way
so
more
cool.
than fighting for your life. Just like when you're planetside, there are plenty of sights to see and stops to make on the way to your next adventure.
I could see wasting
like these
hours
massive
just
star yards.
going out and conquering other ships.
Walk the halls,
Just for
talk
fun.
to the crew,
And
maybe get
cannibalizing
talking to
them,
buy
maybe.
a whole new ship.
A civilian in my star yard. Let's see about getting you a proper ship, one worthy of you.
Maybe you'll dock with a gigantic battleship, like the UC Vigilance.
Wonder if I could take that over, kill everyone on board, make it my own.
Or rub elbows with the galaxy's wealthy
That would
elite
be your
on a
style.
cruise ship fit for the stars. There are plenty of personal encounters to be had as well. You can hail any ship you come across to trade, swap info, or maybe even commit an act of piracy.
Let's do this. When I'm playing, I generally go crazy. I definitely go like the more piracy routes. I want to take over ships. I'm going to board ships. I'm like, this is now mine.
My attitude in these type of
steal
games
all
is
the
that
sandwiches
piracy and stealing
put
is
them,
always
in
is
my
fine
cargo
as long as you
hold
don't
that
get
I have
caught.
Specifically for sandwiches. I don't want to play the hero.
That's hilarious. Sorry,
but I wanna
she
go
just
out and
had
start
said how she
taking
goes
things from
out, she
people as
takes
quickly as
over
possible.
ships and steals all their sandwiches.
Some
Yeah, I saw
strangers
that.
might be looking for a little human connection in the darkness of space.
Hello, stranger. I just finished cooking up some food. If you want to come on over, just pop on by.
Some of the best moments are the ones you discover on your own. The thing I love most about Starfield is that it is a Bethesda game through and through. It's really about going to strange new places, meeting interesting people, and getting sidetracked on zany adventures. Then realizing 2 hours later that you're involved in a completely new story.
You're human. We thought we were the only ones to leave Earth.
That DNA is so present here. It's in our random encounters, it's in our handcrafted quests, and it feels so cool to play it and just make your own path in this universe. There are over 1,000 planets out there, just waiting for you to visit. We want you to feel like explorers, breaking ground on new planets, exploring every inch of a mostly untouched galaxy. We want you to feel hopeful. We want you to feel this sense of awe and wonder, and sometimes a little fear. We're giving you a massive playground and a ton of toys, and just setting you free.
Hey everybody, we've shown you so much stuff, but we thought we'd just take a little break and show you something a little bit different. You know, we put so much detail into our game worlds, and we love the opportunity to bring that into the real world with our collector's editions. And for this game, we've done a watch. It is the Constellation Explorer's Watch. This is the watch that you actually get in the game that acts as part of your HUD, where it's the compass and then environmental information. It connects to your phone.
I really
to give
wanted
you
to get this,
notifications
but
and other
couldn't
information.
justify
And we've also
$400
designed this really
Canadian
cool
to do it.
case that it comes
Oh,
with,
wow.
Eastvan.
I was gonna say, I
really
wonder how
took
much
as
it
much
is.
care and designed this case as we did to watch.
It was
Our
like
attention to
$2.99
detail in the
US.
game totally translates to this.
$3.99 CAD.
It's actually a nice
the
looking watch,
cases
I
that
gotta say.
astronauts used during
It
the
is.
Apollo era to bring back samples from the moon.
And just to have the
It's got
case
an
and
intricate
stuff, I'd have
locking
loved to have
mechanism, authentic,
got that.
heavy, comes with a Constellation patch, NATO strap, and the overall functionality and believability of this as something that would exist in the world, in the Starfield universe.
Oh, and hey,
And it
take
connects
this.
to your Android
You'll find
device.
it very useful out there, and it even tells the time.
Not your Windows
We
phone
actually
because it's a
have something
Microsoft
else.
one.
Now that we're part of Xbox, we get to work with the amazing people on the Xbox hardware team, and together we have created this custom limited edition Starfield controller.
do have
it's
that.
awesome. It is now, our favorite controller.
It is.
We love this because
It's
inspired
really
by
nice
the actual
looking
controls
controller,
of
to
your
be honest.
spaceship. And not only that,
Is it
We've created
based
the
on
first ever
is it based on a
custom
standard
headset
controller,
with
or is it
Xbox.
like a DLE?
And this is a perfect pairing
No,
with that
it's
controller.
like a standard, and I have the headset as well.
I was curious because it looked metal, the directional pad.
Yeah, it's not, unfortunately. It would have been great if it was an Elite, but it's one of those ones. I'm not going to use it a lot. I do use the headset, though, quite a bit, and it's actually pretty nice. For the price, I'm impressed with how well it works overall. I really like the dials on the side, too, for balancing your volume with your chat and everything. It's a nice headset.
In every one of our games, we always put so much care into all those little details that breathe life into our worlds. But Starfield isn't just a Bethesda Game Studios world, it's a Bethesda Game Studios galaxy. So why go this big with Starfield? Because we want to give you freedom on a galactic level. The freedom to experience both the exciting planets and the quiet ones. Scanning a planet before you land is a great way to get a sneak peek at the available resources you can use for crafting, building, and customizing.
I think what's cool about this whole system that we generate the planet itself as a procedural content, but the handcrafted content itself comes as the player explore. Our system builds a planet as the player approaches it. We stitch together a block of terrain. After that, we have the system that adds interesting locations for the player to explore, creatures to encounter, ore and plants to pick up. It allows us to add that touch of environmental storytelling that Bethesda is known for.
Aggressive creatures have been disrupting our experiments. Their habitat isn't far from here. If you could take care of them for us, we would be in your debt.
So even if your friends were to visit the same
Monster
planet
killing.
that you had, you would have a
Good
different story
times.
to tell.
Do a lot of that in Hogwarts Legacy, oddly enough. Killing trolls and giant spiders. Kinda like a game where you can throw fire from your hands, right?
It's always useful.
It is. The only thing better is lightning, but not everyone can be a Sith. I have to say, like, you can really see the influence
completely up
that
to you
ID Software's
how you want to
input had
interact
into
with
the
each
gunplay.
planet. Whether you want to
looks
explore
really
and
crisp.
see what you can find, harvest resources and be on your way,
So, just, as you
or
know,
simply take in the views.
I've always liked first-person shooters on the
With the help of your
PC.
scanner, you'll chart the
And
uncharted and
I've always
discover
worried a bit
exotic
about them on the console, like I wasn't a Halo fan.
If you
Like,
have
I don't
skills,
like
you can
when it's the
even figure
only
out that
thing.
certain creatures
And one of the
plants,
reasons I like
you
Fallout
can build
is
an outpost
because
and
it just seemed like a
produce
small
resources
part
from
of the
those
game.
plants and animals.
I'm just curious, though,
You
like
can
as to
get
how well it
experience
plays in the
and
console, but
rewards
I guess
for
we'll
fully
find out.
surveying planets and
Yeah,
fully surveying
yeah.
the whole system.
You know, I played through both the latest Doom games on console and on
When we were
PC,
concepting
and
these creatures, we really wanted to think of
like I
them
say,
as
ID
natural
is
to the
a master at their
We didn't want
craft.
alien
Their
monsters. We
gunplay
wanted
is
native
awesome, and
wildlife.
it works really well on console
Something
too,
you've
in
never
my
seen
opinion.
before.
I mean, I am more of a PC
When it
guy,
comes
obviously,
to our
but
exteriors, when the sun moves,
I can do both.
all that light is calculated in real time through the atmosphere. Our biggest goal for lighting with Starfield was to make the game feel more filmic, to use lighting and color to really make it feel more cinematic.
It certainly does feel that. I've thought that a bunch of the environments, it looks like a scene from a movie,
Yeah, it does. It really does. Like I say, some of the stuff, it almost gives me chills, right? Like just thinking, oh, this is going to be so cool. Because, you know me, I've always been into space and things like that, having a telescope and sitting out in the backyard at our old house and looking at Jupiter and Saturn. And it's just kind of that fantasy of being able to fly by planets like
After some
that
exploring,
and
you can
stop
find a
on their
spot to
moons
set up a base
and
camp.
whatnot is just so appealing to
Outposts
me.
can be built almost
Yeah,
anywhere
it's so
on
immersive
any
as well.
planet.
Like,
And the habitat
This is the
modules
base building
come in
or
all
outpost
shapes and
building.
sizes, filling
I
all
don't know.
different purposes. You can even live in them. Assign crew and companions.
when I
to
spent
work
in Fallout 4,
Anxiety.
for added
I spent
bonuses
so much
and set up
time getting
extractors
resources and
to
shit.
harvest
Like,
resources while
oh
you're
my god,
away.
I can't. I don't even want.
Something cool we
I
have
was
this
one of these
time
games. I was
is
afraid
having
to look at how
FlyCam,
in
where you can
the
toggle
Xbox
between
it shows you how
on-foot
many
building,
hours
or
you
you
have
can
in
now
it.
use
I'm
a
like, I was
top-down
always
isometric
afraid to look
camera,
at
which
it.
helps plan out
Hilarious.
larger parts of the outpost and placing those larger halves. So that way you can really plan your structures and what the overall feel of your outpost is. And then when you're on your feet, you can really decorate and fine-tune things much easier.
This is going to be a time stealer.
I can only imagine those 1,000 worlds. I mean, again, maybe I'm
Add
being
crafting
cynical
and
about it,
research stations in your outpost to
but
utilize
a
any
lot of them will be
resources you
pretty
find
empty,
or
and there'll
already
be
have.
a few dozen
I'm
with
sure.
Mod
lots
your
of
weapons
stuff
to
in them.
adapt them to your playstyle.
Yeah.
Different
Doesn't make
weapons,
I'm
sense
sure.
to me
scopes,
otherwise.
larger magazines.
Well, and they're
a
trying to
selection of
pattern
grips
it
and
after
barrels,
reality,
different
right?
ammunition like
So in
explosive
reality,
rounds.
that's what you'd have as the vast majority of them will be barren,
All you stealth
resource
players out
heavy
there will
rocks.
surely need a
You know?
suppressor.
Yeah.
You can also choose to go hands-on with melee weapons.
I think it's always a delicate balance between like what's realistic, what's sim, and what's Hollywood. And I think we sort of err on the side of like what's fun for the player.
That sounds about the right way to go to me.
Starfield, we've completely overhauled our combat.
So many of these
More
guys look
dynamic,
so
the
uncomfortable
animations are more
doing this.
fluid.
Like they're like
It just
you know,
feels right.
like they're frozen in carbonite. That only their eyes are
Probably have
moving
more
across
mods
the
and more weapons
script.
in this game than
Yeah,
I
for
want to
sure.
say any other game we've done before.
This guy looks pretty
A lot of
casual.
variety.
But
Yeah. He's there's a couple of other guys, so I
Upgraded
look
gear
like
is just one of the many factors
even
to pay
this guy.
attention to
is
when
like,
engaging.
Yeah,
no, you have
little
to do
rigid.
this.
You may need to switch things up based on your
Do I
environment.
really? Can John do it?
Mhm.
Gravity is different for each planet, and boost packs are excellent for getting around. And for giving you an edge in combat. Sometimes you'll even feel like you're flying.
That just looks like it's going to be so much fun.
Zero gravity
That
environments
definitely, you can
pose a
definitely see
different
the
challenge.
ID
Firing a
influencer, like
ballistic
they
weapon in
jumping
zero G will
around and
actually push you
shooting
backwards.
guys, and they can't get a beat on you. You know?
Energy weapons,
Yeah.
on the other hand, offer a more stable shooting experience.
Is this
We also have mag weapons.
I didn't ask. Is
These are
this
high-powered
primarily a
electromagnetic
single-player
induction
game, or is
ballistic
there?
arrays. Each barrel
It
has
is.
its own targeting
It's
laser
single player.
and can dish out some serious damage. Whether you want to get up close and personal with your own two fists, or you like more compact weapons like
Punching
pistols
alien
and submachine
creatures.
guns, or maybe you prefer
Gotta love
something
it.
bigger.
Good old
Starfield,
minigun.
You gotta have a minigun.
Yeah, you do. Oh man, I can see making so many clips of stuff like that. Just coming in and wrecking bases, and that's going to be fun.
I hope they don't limit you in how much you can level up, because one of the things I find most fun at the latter stages of the game is exploring all of the, the traits and the abilities that you haven't used before. I hate when you get to a limit and it says, okay, no, I can't make myself a melee character or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah. Guess we'll find out. Like I keep saying, we'll find out soon enough. But man, I hope that's not the case. It'd be great if you could just become a jack of all trades.
Just at the end game aspect of it, right? Like when you've leveled up so much, for me it loses purpose
Thanks
a little
again
bit.
for being with us today. We are just so
If you
grateful
can't continue to
that
level
you've
up.
taken the time and spent it here. I know
Well,
there's
it looks
probably a lot to
amazing,
take
Mike.
in. There's a lot to the
I'm
game,
glad
even more than we could show here.
I held
As we
on to
play
see
it,
this
we're always
until I got
sharing
a
these
chance to
unique
look at
and
it with
special
you.
moments that
Yeah.
only a game
Oh,
like
me
this can
too.
bring.
It was fun
When
doing
I
this
think
too.
about what makes it special,
It's
really is
it's
the people
also
here.
even just for
This game
myself,
is a
it's renewed
reflection
my
of the
excitement
incredible,
even more.
passionate team that made it. All of them putting something special of
Yeah,
themselves into
I
it.
can't wait. I'm glad I
So
got to
let's
sit
hear
down
some
and
of
do
their
this with
favorite
you, though.
moments.
A lot of fun.
I love the way
See Xbox
that
logos
our
all over the
final
place as well.
combination
Maybe you're
of
trying
all
to
the new tech
indoctrinate
has
me.
come together to create some of the most beautiful sunsets
Not so
and
subliminal
sunrises we've ever
messaging.
had in any of our games.
Yeah.
I love the creatures, the exploration, every biome is different. The word that comes to mind is vast.
I like to use our photo mode to take rock star photos.
I just love that
This one seems a
constant feel of
character.
discovery, and wow, I can't believe that there's more here.
I'm most excited about our outpost building systems.
My favorite part is every time you step out on a planet, it's a unique experience.
You spend all this time building your ship, and you see it on the landing pad. These things are gigantic. It's the kind of thing that you just can't get anywhere else.
There's something about seeing a tower over in the distance and going, I know the gravity's low here. I think I can make that jump.
My favorite part is biomes, spaceships,
Audio design,
planets,
The day-night cycle,
Those details matter to me.
diplomacy, exploration, freedom,
The ending.
Vasco, obviously.
I love the robot so much.
The incredible amount of worlds we created.
sniper rifles, come on, lever action, rocket launcher.
Brain sprout. I love it. Some people might find creepy. I don't know. I know it's right, Ben.
The thing that I
Brain
enjoy most
sprout.
about the game is the freedom to be who you want to be, do what you want to do. It's what you've come to expect from a Bethesda title, but on a much bigger scale.
On behalf of all of us, we can't wait for you to play Starfield and make your own special moments.
No, I can't wait either. Again, I hope they're not overselling it, but to be honest, even based on what I see here, even if this is all on like 2 or 3 worlds, it would be an amazing game.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm just sitting here with a grin on my face. It's what is it now? 12 days away, I guess, to the early access. But man, yeah, it's going to be fun getting in there and finding out how much of what they just told us is hype and maybe overselling, or our expectations are just spot on and we're going to have a great
Play
time.
it day one with Game
The other
Pass.
thing as well is that I kind of, DLC is such a huge part of games these days. Like with something so vast, I mean, I guess you'd still find a way, but what DLC would you even bring on there, right?
It'll probably
Is
be
it-
like, I would guess, another storyline that you would
Yeah.
go through. Like, but yeah, it's not like, what are you going to add more worlds? That would be crazy.
Yeah.
It'll probably be some conspiracy. You have to hunt down somebody that's trying to overthrow a government on a planet or something like that. Who knows? But
Well, I mean, the first thing is first and foremost for me, it looks very Fallout-esque, which I'm a huge fan of. So,
mhm.
like, it just looks like Fallout in steroids, right?
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. For sure.
So that in itself is, and again, it's the Bethesda, so that in itself is enough to at least give it a whirl, right? And the fact, as you say, it's on Game Pass means that no money needs to exchange hands, or no extra money needs to exchange hands.
Yeah, yeah. But we should probably at least wrap the video part up here, since we've been, I don't even know how long this has been. It's been probably an hour with our pauses and talking, but say thanks for joining me today, Finn. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to this game going live and getting your thoughts once you've had a week or two to play it. Maybe we'll do a quick follow-up after we've both spent maybe 10 or 20 hours in the game and see what our thoughts are at that point.
Sounds good. I can be the PlayStation naysayer on the next video. It isn't as good as I said it was going to be.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's not the case. But thanks again. And yeah, any final thoughts just to throw out there before we go?
It just looks epic, is all I can say. The worlds look amazing. I just hope it's half of what they say it is. But even if it isn't everything exactly as they say it's going to be, it just looks like it's going to be an amazing Fallout-esque game. And I think the question is, how much more is it going to be than that?
Yeah, well, I've said it a lot. Time will tell. But
Yep.
thanks again.
All right. Thank you,
And
Mike.
we'll be chatting again soon, I'm sure.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye. So, there you have it. If you made it this far, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. And if you did like it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And if you didn't like it, please tell us why. We're always looking to improve, and anything that you can provide us feedback that can help us get better, I really appreciate. Make sure you come back, because Finn and I plan on making another video following up a couple of weeks after launch, maybe 3 weeks, depends how much time we have to play. But I expect we're going to be having some pretty strong opinions as to what we like, what we don't like, things we think they can do better, along with the things we think they're doing a great job on. I'm looking forward to this adventure. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Mental9R, and this is Caffeine Entertainment.